Governor Moino tasked Christian Akwa Ibom community on intense prayers for sustainable peace. Arise initiative for the elderly. Wife of the governor deals out cash to 1,200 persons. Akwa Ibom introduces new super grade crude into international markets. And community leader Obon Otumedo joins ancestors. We have details shortly. Good evening. Welcome to Akbc 45 News. I am Eyageno Paul. Governor Moino has called on Christians to be relentless in praying for peace to prevail in the state and the nation. He made the call on Tuesday when he declared open the biennial conference of the Methodist Church Nigeria, held at Groove's Memorial Methodist Cathedral in Ikore local government area. Government House reporter Utobi Mokon has the details.
Represented by the Deputy Governor, Senator Akune, Governor Moino said regular intercessory prayers by the church would help to reduce tension and take the nation to a desired destination. He commended the youth in Akwa Ibom for their maturity and peaceful disposition in the ongoing protests. Remarking on the theme of the conference, Rise and Build, the governor commended the leadership of the church in keeping faith with the vision of John Wesley towards advancing spiritual and social values in the society, noting that the theme of the conference was apt as it aligned with the Arise agenda of his administration.
The theme for the 2024 Synod Biennial Conference and aligns with the vision of the government of Akwa Ibom State. Arise agenda cuts across agri, rural development, infrastructure, security, education, and economy. The world is changing. We are the ones that will be in a position to sustain, to continue the battle, to continue the fight, so that the vision of our father, John Wesley, will not be in vain.
Earlier in his welcome address, the prelate of Methodist Church Nigeria, His Eminence Dr. Oliver Ali Abba, said the church should be committed to the work of God in order to build the lives of the people spiritually and physically, and express appreciation to the governor for supporting the church.
Our team shows we are called to do these things and let others to join the Lord's workforce.
The conference featured presentation of gifts to the governor, prayer for the state and nation. Utobi Mokon, Akbc News.
To ameliorate the effects of the harsh economic realities in the country, 1,200 elderly persons in Akwa Ibom received 50,000 naira each and medical care as part of the benefits of the Arise initiative for the elderly, a support scheme program designed by the renewed Help Initiative, the President's wife, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and adopted by the state government to cater for the aging and aged people in the state. The program tagged Caring for Our Parents featured beneficiaries drawn from the 31 local government areas of the state and held at Government House Banquet Hall, Uyo. Margaret Bassi reports.
Speaking at the event, wife of Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Patience Umoino, explained that the program was a combination of May and June editions with 600 beneficiaries from each of the editions, while acknowledging the roles of the senior citizens in the advancement and development of the state. The governor's wife expressed commitment to their health and well-being.
Since inception till date, we have provided medical care and financial support of 50,000 naira to our vulnerable elderly citizens aged 65 and above in all the 31 local government areas of Akwa Ibom State and others to cushion the effect of the economic situation and alleviate the burdens of our esteemed elders.
The Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Ini Adiakman, appreciated the governor and wife for the program and said it has eased the pains associated with economic realities in the country. Dr. Adiakman further said her ministry would soon domesticate the National Aging Framework, which, according to her, will provide a direction to the elderly in the state in line with the Arise agenda.
Coming here to ensure that our parents are celebrated. And we want to use this opportunity to ask you to thank our governor for us. Because for everything that is done here, he is the man behind what Her Excellency is doing. If he did not think well of this initiative, it will not be implemented.
The coordinator Arise Initiative for the Elderly, Mrs. Mercy Eka, stated that in the past events, over 1,200 senior citizens have been captured in the disbursement of the cash transfer of 50,000 naira each. She added that the program, which was initiated by the Renewed Hope initiative of the wife of the president, has been domesticated in the state to help curb the pains associated with old age.
I would like to comment on our First Lady, Her Excellency, Pastor Mrs. Patience Umoino, for her tireless effort in supporting the elderly through this program. Her commitment to ensuring the consistent implementation of the program is truly commendable. Permit me to also thank our father, His Excellency, Governor Umoino, for his superlative sense of leadership.
The event featured a special tribute and presentation of gifts to Opongwan Arat Willie Ekbo, a 101-year-old elder from Uyo local government area. Mr. Hazan Bello, a 65-year-old and non-indigenous, expressed appreciation to the governor's wife for recognizing the elders and prayed God to grant the governor and wife wisdom in their dealings. The elderly and divine troop of the Divine Children's Home added color to the event with their performances. Margaret Bassi, Akbc News.
In commemoration of World Breastfeeding Week, which lasted between August 1 to 7, 2024, Pastor Patience Umoino has gifted financial support and parks to 500 nursing mothers in Akwa Ibom State. The First Lady distributed the gift to the mothers selected from the 31 local government areas of the state in an event held at Government House Banquet Hall, Uyo. Margaret Bassi reports that the event has the theme Closing the Gap, Break Records, Break Barriers, Feeding Support for All.
The governor's wife commended nursing mothers who are committed to exclusively breastfeeding their babies, describing such dedication as an exhibition of great love, care, and selflessness. Pastor Patience placed her commitment to continue supporting breastfeeding mothers through sensitization and empowerment programs through her pet project Golden Initiative for All, GIFA. She said that Governor Moino is committed to ensuring that the healthcare facilities in the state are well equipped to provide proper care to nursing mothers across the state.
I firmly believe that every child deserves a healthy start, and breastfeeding is a vital part of this journey. Hence, my commitment to supporting breastfeeding mothers in our state through programs like this that provides a platform for breastfeeding mothers to connect with each other, gain knowledge, and build a stronger community of women who understand that breast milk is a gift from God that provides optimal nutrition and boosts immunity.
The Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Inia Diakman, noted that breastfeeding is essential as it highlights a wider thought for the future and health for children. Dr. Diakman stated that the state government has made provisions for laws and policies to favor breastfeeding mothers who are interested in raising healthy and wealthy children with best practices, urging the women to implement the lessons learned.
Her Excellency is interested in raising healthy and wealthy children for the state. Health goes with wealth. Wealth experience, because if a child is not healthy, then the child will not be able to tap from his or her environment.
Presenting a keynote address on breastfeeding, Dr. Christy Akwawo said the week, which is marked from 1st to 7th of August every year, advocates for breastfeeding as the ideal food for all infants, which contains antibodies to protect the child, especially when they are fed exclusively and done as often as possible. Dr. Kwawo mentioned benefits of breastfeeding to include faster postpartum recovery, increases the bond between mother and child, reduces the risk of high blood pressure, breast and ovarian cancers, help the child to build strong immunity, cost effective, also serves as a natural population control method.
Breastfeeding is ideal for infants because it is safe, it is clean, and it contains antibodies which help protect against many common childhood illnesses.
Goodwill messages were received from representative of ACUS, Dr. Awak, and that of World Health Organization, Dr. Nweke Clement. They commended the wife of the governor for her initiatives, saying it is aimed at nurturing the health and well-being of children and investment into the future generation.
ACUS as an indigenous organization is committed to partnering with the state government.
High points of the event were the demonstration on proper breastfeeding techniques and presentation of the gift packs to nursing mothers who appreciated the governor's wife for her kind gesture. Margaret Bassi, Akbc News.
Akwa Ibom introduces new super-grade crude into international market, and community leader Obongo Tumedo joins ancestors. We will bring you details of these stories and others after this break. Please stay with us.
Missing you.
3-year anniversary in loving memory of our dearest mom, late Evangelist Mrs. Agnes Okon JP. Mom, another year has passed with you as our guardian angel. You sacrificed so much for us every day of your life, and we will always hold your many acts of love in our hearts. We think about you always. We talked about you still. You have never been forgotten, and you will never be. We hold you so dear to our hearts, and there you will always be to continually guide us through our lives until we meet again. Continue to rest in peace. This is signed by the children.
But I wonder if I'll ever lose the pain of missing you.
We are glad to have you back, and now to our remaining stories. The Speaker of the House of Assembly, Elder Udemo Tong, has paid tribute to the Bionibom State Constituency representative in the House of Assembly, Mr. Moses Essien, for a people-centered representation. Elder Tong was speaking at the community hospital called Ubao Trebio in the Bionibom local government area, where he declared open a 1-week free medical outreach sponsored by Mr. Moses Essien for his constituents. Legislative Affairs reporter Uyuko Swa reports.
While acknowledging the harsh realities occasioned by the Nigerian economy, Speaker Otong noted that sponsoring a comprehensive health outreach, including surgeries, is capital-intensive. He described the Bionibom lawmaker as one of the most vibrant in the 8th Assembly and commended him for always prioritizing and advocating the betterment of his constituency and the welfare of his people. Speaker Otong was represented by the State Constituency representative, Mr. Lawrence Udoide.
The economy of Nigeria, we all know the situation that we are in. There are some people who are not supposed to die, but they die because of no money to buy malaria drugs or typhoid drug. And so today, Moses Essien, from the little I know, he has put money in the pocket of some people in the Bionibom local government area. And of course, he knows that he decided to bring this program that will be beneficiary to thousands of Bionibom people. And I think it should be appreciated.
Speaking at the flag off, the sponsor of the outreach and chairman House Committee on Health, Mr. Moses Essien, said the gesture was part of activities to mark his first year as a state legislator. He also said it was in support of the Arise agenda of the Moino administration and thanked the partners for assisting him to cater for the health needs of his people.
Health is wealth, and so I consider it a priority to render these free medical services to help my people and giving back to the society for sending me to the House of Assembly.
The paramount ruler of the Bionibom local government area, Edidem Ime Udosorinyang, conveyed the gratitude of the constituency.
Moses Essien Fenemi. Aku enabo yang ini show ikong upod ikong udongo idong isong song idem abase dia onye.
Aspects covered by the free medical outreach include general surgeries, blood pressure checks and treatment, blood sugar check and treatment, deworming of children, malaria rapid diagnostic testing and treatment, HIV testing and counseling. Others are eye checks and provision of eyeglasses and medical consultations. The outreach will be rounded off on Friday, August 9, 2024. Uyouko Uswa, Akbc News.
While Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Patience Umoino joined family and sympathizers to mourn the demise of the praised bus driver in our office, Mr. Etido Ifremebon, who passed away following a brief illness. In a condolence message at the funeral held at Ikorubum, Afarabon, Abakaliki government area, Pastor Patience expressed deep sadness and regret over the death of Mr. Ebon, describing him as a remarkable individual who consistently demonstrated commitment to assigned responsibilities. Margaret Bassi reports.
Represented by the press secretary, Mrs. Uduak Ekong, the First Lady noted that his gentle nature and respectful demeanor endeared him to everyone he came in contact with. Despite his untimely demise, Pastor Patience Eno urged his family to draw solace from the fact that Mr. Ebong lived a life of love and purpose, leaving behind a lasting impact on the lives of those he touched with his good deeds. The governor's wife also encouraged the family to emulate Mr. Ebong's virtues and values, praying that God would grant them strength to navigate the difficult times ahead, praying for the repose of the soul of the deceased. She described the deceased as a dedicated and hardworking member of the praise team, saying that his passing has left a void in the lives of his colleagues and friends.
Late Etido was a remarkable individual, a diligent and hardworking staff who consistently demonstrated his commitment to assigned responsibilities in the Akwa Ibom State Civil Service. Despite his unfortunate demise, I draw solace from the fact that Etido lived a life of love and purpose, leaving behind lasting and memorable impacts in the lives of people he affected with his good deeds.
Earlier in an exhortation, Apostle Nsikan Idem of the Mount Zion Lighthouse Full Gospel Church Incorporated, Akaitiam Diocese, who spoke on the topic, "There is death in the pot," reminded Christians that death is an inevitable end of all mortals. He charged Christians to always examine their lifestyles while on earth, live a life of purpose with the consciousness that death will beckon unannounced.
18 was good, fine, I accept. How about you? Are you good? The day you die, will you have this kind of crowd? How are you behaving with people? How are we walking in this life? Even the pot in your house, I want to let you understand today, start knowing that there is death in that pot.
Eulogizing his virtues, wife of the deceased, Mrs. Blessing Etido Ifrem, and others described the late elder Etido Ifremebong as a caring husband and father who extended his kind gestures to the people around him, adding that his death has left a huge vacuum in their life, their children, and that of family.
My husband was the best husband so far. He was a man of honor, a loving and caring husband, a father to so many, with a heart of gold. Truly, I'll miss him.
All this crowd that is coming out here is supposed to be here to back up with him so that we can bury our mother properly. I really miss him.
I will really miss him because he was a very nice person. He loved everybody. He took everybody as his own. He did not discriminate.
My father was a very rare gem, an irreplaceable person. Loved everyone equally. We are so gonna miss him.
He was not only my father but my role model. He was everything to me. What can I explain how heartbroken I am today to bid him farewell?
The funeral was attended by people from all walks of life, including aides to the governor and wife, former colleagues of the deceased, as well as associates. Margaret Bassi, Akbc News.
This one breaks my heart. May God rest the soul of Etido. In a bid to rid the state of gender-based violence, Women United for Economic Empowerment, in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice and that of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, has flagged off a 2-day community awareness walk to campaign against gender-based violence in all ramifications. The event, sponsored by Urgent Action Fund Africa, had security agencies, stakeholders from various civil societies and organizations, as well as women from Ikorekbene and Oron, walk around the Nkanga Secretariat Complex with placards and musical accompaniment. Esther Morin reports.
The campaign, according to the Monitoring and Evaluation Officer of Women United for Economic Empowerment, Mr. Joshua Nya, was a way of registering their appeal with governments to ensure that funding measures are provided to law enforcement agencies and other civil societies for prompt attention to gender-based related offenses. Mr. Nya also noted that the campaign is aimed at inciting the governments to provide specialized training to medical personnel in handling victims of gender-based violence and advocated collaborations with stakeholders across boards for a successful fight against gender-based violence in the state and the country at large.
We drafted a line of policy brief to engage the line ministries, because we know Ministry of Justice and Ministry of Women Affairs are the frontliner of the frontliner stakeholders to end violence against women and girls. Creating a separate court to handle GBV cases in Akwa Ibom State in order to avert the delay process of cases of gender-based violence, in order for survivors of violence to be able to get justice and also perpetrators brought to book.
The Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Iniadi Akpan, said the ministry is collaborating with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that issues related to gender-based violence receive prompt attention, as the state government is ready to pull up resources in giving prompt attention to survivors of gender-based violence. She was represented by Mrs. Nkechi Borodo of the Women Department in the ministry.
The Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare had gone ahead to collaborate with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Economic Development to ensure that all budgeting in the Akwa Ibom State Civil Service and beyond is gender responsive. What it means is that they are going to mainstream gender in every budgeting of every line ministry, department and agencies.
Director, Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Response Unit of the Ministry of Justice, Barrister Memete, who spoke the minds of the Attorney General and the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Justice, highlighted steps taken so far to ensure that perpetrators of gender-based violence are made to face appropriate sanctions, as the ministry is fully committed to ensuring that gender-based violence is curbed in the state.
And we go all out to ensure that we protect victims and ensure that perpetrators are made accountable for their actions. You can have the assurance of the Honorable Attorney General on that, and that of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice. We have done several things to ensure that victims are protected. In our ministry, we have the Department of Public Prosecutions, where perpetrators are prosecuted, but the government went a step further to establish the Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Response Department, which responds directly, to victims who suffer gender-based violence.
Esther Omorin, Akbc News.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, in Akwa Ibom, has organized an orientation seminar for its prospective members ahead of the inauguration. Addressing participants at the Daniel Ekanam Hall Information Drive, the state chairman, Comrade Mose Tuk, charged them to exhibit seriousness while performing their roles as watchdogs of the society. In a goodwill message, a former state secretary of the union and director sports elder Akbc Elder Justice Udosoro urged the new intakes to be mindful of objectivity and fairness while reporting, noting that truth is the defense against court actions. Also speaking, the former chairman of the union, Comrade Innocent Okon, described the union as a professional body as it has an established course of study and entry requirements. Speaking on behalf of the state executive members, the chairman of the Federated Chapel, Comrade Nsibia John, welcomed the participants to the union, which he described as a home away from home. Papers were presented by Mr. Sande Antai, a former state chairman, and Mr. Dominic Ekman, state secretary of the union. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited has announced the introduction of Akbc crude oil blend, a new crude grade, into the international crude oil market. Located offshore Akwa Ibom State, Akbc's current crude oil production is at 28,000 barrels per day, with potential to increase it to 50,000 barrels per day. Spanish oil plant Rapsol won the tender for the initial cargo of 950,000 barrels of the new crude blend, which is comparable to the much sought after Amenam crude. The addition of the new crude oil grade to others at the market comes to a time the country is making efforts to grow its oil production to the 2 million barrels per day in a bid to shore up revenue. The chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Benga Komolafe, had recently disclosed that the country's average daily production stood at 1.61 million barrels per day as of July 23. Komolafe revealed this at the House of Representatives Special Committee's two-day public investigative hearing on oil theft and losses. The funeral mass of a renowned lawyer and community leader, Obong Otuwede Medo, of the royal family of Okon Medo Esienekong Obiondap Otu, was recently conducted in his hometown, Abak, Ibiakoran, in Oran local government area. He died at the age of 70. The funeral was conducted by the St. Dominic Church of Perpetual Adoration. Will the report?
In his homily, Reverend Father Emmanuel Ifyorefyong said death separates the soul from the body, while the soul returns to his maker to give account of itself while on earth. Reverend Father Efyong therefore admonished the people to reverence God while on earth in order to gain eternal life when God reunites soul and the body on the resurrection day.
How should you prepare for judgment day? Because we should not bother about judgment, we should not be afraid of it. Be prepared, because it starts from there. And so we pray that we should love God, try our best to love God, do His will every blessed day. But on that day and hour, no one knows, not even angels of heaven, but the Father only.
The late Obong Otu Medo was an old boy of the prestigious Kwaibu Mission Secondary School, Etinan Institute, and St. Patrick's College, Calabar. An alumnus of University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Obong Otu Medo was called to bar in 1978, working in the Ministry of Justice, Ibadan, Oyo State, Cross River Breweries, and later Pipeline and Products Marketing Company of the NNPC, where he retired. According to his biography, the late legal luminary was a service-oriented individual who contributed to the welfare of communities and individuals he came across. This attribute led to his conferment as Obong Iberedem Ofriuran, Obong Ufuru, and Adaida Ake Fugebrutu, patron of St. Peter's Catholic Community, board member, Catholic Television, Pastoral Council at Holy Rosary Catholic Church. To his wife, Ramatu, children Kufre and Darabong, the late Obong Medo was an epitome of peace and caring fatherhood.
He was very intelligent, he was the life of the party. He would light up any room that he stepped into, and he had a way of influencing everybody in different ways. He touched people in different ways across
borders. So he was an incredible man. That's all.
In their separate remarks, a former Commissioner for Transport, Prince Godwin Ntugude, the paramount ruler of Itu, Edidem Edith Akpaniyang, the PDP, the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, NNPC, and the Obong of Calabar described Obong Otu Medo as a beacon of light and community builder.
Such a liberal social person who regards people no matter where, however you want to hide, as long as he can perceive that you are from one or from this part of the world, he will set you out, he will make you feel important.
But he was a right-hand man to us and to Akwa people. Very calm, very simple person, humble.
The remains of the late community leader were later interred in his family compound in Abat Ibiakuran, Uran local government area.
That's all we have for you this evening. But before we get another look at the top stories, to ameliorate the effects of the harsh economic realities in the country, 1,200 elderly persons in Akwa Ibom received 50,000 naira each and medical care as part of the Benefits of Arise initiative for the elderly, a support scheme program designed by the renewed Help Initiative, the President's wife, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, and adapted by the state government to cater for the aging and aged people in the state. We also brought you a report that in a bid to rid the state of gender-based violence, Women United for Economic Empowerment, in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice and that of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, has flagged off a 2-day community awareness walk to campaign against gender-based violence.